And welcome back to our Sunbelt Studios. If you'd like to hear more of the Old Dominion press conference there at the Marriott, we've got a dedicated channel to the podium feed there in the ESPN menu. You can click on that and continue watching that. In the meantime, we've been joined by the Georgia State Panthers, picked 7th in the Sunbelt East, coming off a tough 1-11 season a year ago. And Dell McGee is the head coach in his 3rd season. Dell, it's great to see you again.
You as well.
He's got quarterback Cam Brown here. The 5th-year senior quarterback is and Jabril Rhodes-Nelson, the senior defensive lineman, is standing by with Rocky, and we'll hear from those two guys in just a moment. So has there been a theme or a mantra for your program entering this 2026 season? Kind of what's most teams have some kind of a mantra, logo, theme, motto, something like that. Do you guys have one?
I wouldn't say we have a mantra. I just think that we're leaning more so on our DNA traits. With us having just one portal window, we're able to really establish a true off-season program. We hired several new coaches on the defensive side of the football where they were able to implement their systems and how we're going to go about business and how we watch film, how we do walkthroughs and other things that encompass us being successful on that side of the ball. We also elevated a couple of coaches that was on staff, one being Zach Conwell and Enrique Davis, the special teams coordinators, co-titles, and also Casey Roddick from analyst, our offensive line coach. So not a lot of moving parts, but we did address what I thought was the most significant piece was making sure we got a defensive staff that demanded accountability, demand our players play with passion, and be as organized and detail-oriented as possible.
If there was any one thing as you look back over your first 2 seasons, and of course the first season we know got started late because you weren't hired until spring football practices actually already started, but if there was any one thing you'd say we've absolutely got to be better in season 3 to make an improvement in this team and program, what would that be?
I would just say we got to be better in all phases. We got to be better coaches. We got to take the game plan from the players' hands to the field, and they got to really, really be the ones that make the game plan come to life. We got to be very situationally aware, and I think that our coaches will have a plan for that leading into fall camp and as the season progresses. But I'm really pleased with the progress we've had thus far. Still got a long way to go, but our players have been really buckling down, just taking it one day at a time, not allowing the outside noise, so to speak, dictate who we are. Despite having some down years, we know that deep in our hearts we're winners, and the process is the process, and I feel good on the direction we're headed.
So you've been a coach a long time, and the Georgia State program, not unlike anybody else, everybody's doing this. Whether you win or whether you lose, the next season's always rebuilding. Mm-hmm. So as a coach and as your coaching staffs, the coaches on your coaching staff, how have you adapted to that new reality in that there's not a whole lot of building off what you did last year? Whether that's good or bad, there's not a whole lot building off of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand new team, so the 2026 team has nothing to do with last season or the prior season. It's just like the 2 gentlemen that I brought with me today. Their performances from last season has no indication that they're going to perform that way or better. We all have to go down and put our hard hats on and go to work and be really thankful for the opportunity that we have and just win today. That's been the biggest motto, is just how can I be the best version of myself for the 24 hours that I have.
So it's kind of a good and a bad thing. So if you had a great season last year, you're really not carrying anything over from that. If you've had a bad season, you're not carrying anything over from that either. It's brand new.
Brand new. You can't let moments or bad moments have life or breath. So we're always having a next moment mentality, and we are in the next phase, next chapter of our book. And like I said, we got 51 returning players, 29 new players that we acquired out of the portal, 7 junior college players, and 15 high school signees that with the talent in all positions, we feel like iron sharpens iron, and we have talent in every single room.
So perhaps the biggest highlight of the 2025 season was Ted Hurst, who was taken third round of the NFL draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, highest drafted player in the Sun Belt last year, highest drafted player in Georgia State history. What did having a player like Ted Hurst, do you get any residual? Do you get any good kickback from having a guy like Ted Hurst come through your program, and perhaps even more in the future if he continues to play well and has a great NFL career?
Yeah, I think Ted Hurst is a great story. He came from Division II ranks, Valdosta State, and we acquired several guys from the Division II ranks. And the way Ted carried himself in practice, being an unselfish player, whether he got the ball or not, I think the players that we retained, they got a chance to see Ted at work. They saw how hard he worked in the film room and outside of football. More importantly, Ted was a great teammate.
Right.
And I think these two gentlemen today can also speak on Ted's behalf and the impact that he had. And a lot of guys are going to want to fill the shoes of Ted Hurst and want to be the next Ted Hurst of, staying committed to the process, not chasing the portal or chasing money, and really having a true opportunity to advance his career from an NFL standpoint.
Yeah, and you took it back to Valdosta State. He came out of Valdosta State and became a star at the D1 level, the FBS level. Even beyond that, he was lightly recruited out of high school in the Savannah area. And then there's two stories right there. He was not highly pursued coming out of high school, and he's a third-round draft pick in the National Football League and arguably the best wide receiver in the Sun Belt Conference. Last season, I did an interview with an outlet in Tampa, and I said, look, all you need to know about him is the ball was going to him as much as possible. The other team knew it, and they could never stop him.
Yep, very true.
The ball. There was no question. If the ball's in the air, it's likely going to Ted Hurst, and they still couldn't stop him.
Yep, and that speaks to his work ethic and him being an unselfish player. Even when teams try to take him away, he didn't pout about not getting the ball. He would be the first one to throw blocks and celebrate with his teammates, which are all qualities that you want from a great player. You want your best players to be the leaders of your team, and that's exactly what Ted Hurst was.
Well, certainly hope it pays off for him with the Bucs, and hopefully it pays off for Georgia State in the future, having had Ted Hurst come through the program. All right, let's talk about your personnel now. Let's start with your quarterback, Cam Brown, who's sitting over there with Rocky. We'll hear from him in just a few moments. Took over during the season and really sparked the team offensively.
Yeah, Cam, his work ethic speaks for itself. He is a winner. He hates to lose. He prides himself on being a really good teammate as well. And I've seen his leadership grow over this past season and workouts, how he leads our team when we're doing on-the-field activities, and just his body language and demeanor, trying to really encourage the young guys and show those guys the ropes. His experience speaks for itself, and his play allows his voice to even matter more to our players because they see the fire and passion and energy that he plays with, and that's really, really exciting to have a leader at that position. We did bring in a quarterback, Aiden Pereira, who I feel like has made great strides since spring ball over the summer. That creates competition.
Yeah, got to have competition.
But the biggest thing is I feel like we have quarterbacks that have the same type of makeup as opposed to last year where we had a pocket guy and a guy that could create with his legs. Now I feel like we got four guys in that room, TJ Stanley, Gavin Knuckles, that have athleticism along with good arm talent.
And Cam threw for close to 1,300 yards, but maybe the most impressive thing was just the one interception and the 13 touchdown passes. Great touchdown to interception ratio, and that's always an issue is a quarterback that puts the ball out there in harm's way, just kills your offense. And Cam, one of the great things that he did, among the many great things that he did, was he protected the football.
Absolutely. When you talk about the quarterback position, they're an extension of the head coach and offensive coordinator, and taking care of the football is probably the most important factor for a quarterback and his decision making. And we're expecting that to grow exponentially. But, quarterback can't do it by himself. We have to put pieces around him and really define everyone's role. I feel like we have a strong running back room that we're going to be able to rely on. Grant Hollier returns as a tight end. We also added another tight end, Matt Buren. Our other tight end, Wesley, comes back off of injury, who wasn't able to play last year. Avian McBride returns in the tight end room as well, and really, really feel good about the offensive unit. And then we got some receivers that just got into the program from the Division II level that we're curious to see how they're going progress over the summer and into the season.
So let's hit that running back room. You mentioned the running backs. DJ Murray is the top returning running back statistically. And then McCrary, you added out a shorter. He was a 1,000-yard rusher at that level. Savion Hart out of Georgetown, a 1,000-yard rusher at that level. How do you see that playing out?
Yes, a really good competition.
Everybody gets a chance to get the ball, right?
Everybody's going to have a chance to compete. I won't say everyone's going to get a chance to get the ball. You got to earn the right.
Compete for a chance to get the ball.
Yes.
And if you get the ball and do something with it, you'll get the ball more.
Absolutely. And also feel good about Deuce Butler, who was a high school signee that we had. That was a mid-year. He flashed and showed some really good things of what he can do in the return game, as well as catching the ball out of the backfield and creating explosive plays. And then we're very fortunate enough to sign Quintavious Wiggins out of Langston Hughes as a late signee. I think he has all the talent in the world to be.
He's a big-time really star. He was in high school.
He was, and he's learning to adapt to the college game. And Coach Davis is going to continue to develop him, but he's really a big back that has all the physical attributes and physical traits to be a really good running back for us.
And at least at that level, the high school, he had home run.
Oh, he
breakaway
has it now
ability.
Too. So
So
his speed
it's always the key is what does it translate, what he did in high school, does it translate to the college level? Because the players around him obviously have gotten better. But, playing at a place like Langston Hughes, he was playing at the highest level anyway.
Absolutely. So it definitely translates. And you can see him growing each and every day. So he's going to get more comfortable with the playbook, more comfortable with pass protection and understanding our pass protections that we ask our running backs to make sure we protect Cam right and keep him upright.
Yeah, you mentioned the pass catchers. DJ Riles is back. He's among the returning guys who's got experience in the program. Actually started his career at Middle Tennessee, but he's been in the program now for a couple of years. Grant Hollier, we saw on the highlight package with Cam Brown, number 88, making some big plays at that tight end position, and really kind of came on and played even more and played even better as the season went on, at least in my book. And then some of the guys that you've added through the portal, I don't know, Chase Allen, Jackman out of Washburn, had a big season there last year with 7 touchdown catches. Your thoughts on how that room shakes out?
I think it's going to be a wait and see, but they've been progressing. Cam's been doing a good job, along with other quarterbacks, of getting those guys together on their time and just having some routes on air sessions just to get timing down in the passing game. But it's going to be a defining moment how camp goes, and then once we get to the season of finding where's that who's that target of our quarterbacks that they like, and they got that timing down where we can really maximize whoever skill set really shows up.
How about with players that you brought in from that level, like a Shorter, like a Georgetown, like Washburn, places like that? When do you know? Do you know in camp whether this guy is going to be as good as you thought he was going to be, or not as good as you, or does it actually have to happen in the games?
Some of it has to happen in the game, but we're very intentional on doing a lot of tackling and doing a lot of live scrimmage type work during spring ball. So we got a really good glimpse of Savion Hart and Lanier McCray, and I think both of those guys are going to have outstanding seasons for us. Chase Allen Jackman was kind of coming off an injury, so he wasn't fully healthy.
Gotcha.
And I think he's kind of getting his feet up under him. So we're just really excited about our entire team and being able to connect and grow this summer too.
How about in your offensive line with Tyler Williams and Donovan Funch coming back, and anybody else you got there in that offensive line? Because I think, especially, it always has been in college football, no different, but especially today with the transitory nature of college football and their rosters is really evident in offensive line if you lose guys in the offensive line, and now every year, because offensive lines, to me, more than any position group, grow year to year to year to year. Yeah. And if you don't have guys year to year to year to year, not just you but everybody, then it shows.
It does. I think we did a really good job of acquiring some older guys with some experience, not so much playing experience, but playing on higher levels, being involved in high-intensity type practices. Jordan Brown will probably start at left tackle for us.
Transferred from Arizona, but he actually was at Georgia Tech at one point.
That's right.
To start off with. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Dalen Hazard is another one that will play guard for us. Gage Stanland has been very impressive at guard for us as well. And Marcus Maskell at tackle has really shown some really good things, along with Kelton Smith and along with Donovan Funch, Tyler Williams. They kind of know the system. Malik Jackson They know the system, but the biggest thing and the biggest improvement is just Casey Roddick and his passion and fire he has for that group and how much he cares for those guys, and they're going to give it right back on the amount of effort and trying to please Coach Roddick in that. So I'm really happy with where the offensive line is, and we're going to have to lean on those guys a lot.
You touched on it earlier as we switch over to the defense and the new defensive coordinators with Cam Clark and John Hanneline taking over that position together, or that position on the staff together. What's that going to mean as far as what you see the product on the football field?
Yeah, I think them coming in January, being able to install their system, and we did it intentionally slow. We want to make sure we have a great foundation, and our kids have really progressed after spring ball, working through this summer where you can see the fruits of their labor and them understanding, all the facets of our base defense. We still have a long way to go and a lot of things we have to install, but we really like the direction we're headed. The good thing about Hanneline and Coach Clark, they've worked together. They're all on the same page along with Coach Douglas. So that alignment of being able to speak the same language, the accountability piece, and getting 11 hats to the football has been preached, and you can see our kids buying into that. And a lot of that goes back to some of the leaders that returned. Deuce Walker is a returning guy in the secondary for us. Kobe Owens at linebacker played a lot of meaningful minutes for us last year. And Jabril Rhodes-Nelson, Richard Kramer are two D linemen that actually played. And we're expecting some young guys to step in there. And we also added guys from the junior college ranks that I think are going to add size, which you got to have. And it's a line scrimmage football game, so you can control and dominate line scrimmage, you have a chance.
You mentioned Jabril Rhodes-Nelson. As far as returning production, he's probably at the top of the list for you guys. 41 total tackles, which is a nice big number for a defensive lineman. 5 TFL. Talk about what Jabril brings to the table, and he'll be talking to Rocky here in just a minute.
Yeah, he just brings leadership. Him and Cam Brown both understand our DNA traits, and they're able to get that across to our newer players and, demand the standard and re-emphasize everything as coaches to the players that were coming in. And they've done a tremendous job in the locker room, in the weight room, and all the things off the field. And, that's something else I'm most proud about with Keelan Butler, him being a freshman last year, playing a lot of meaningful minutes. He kind of serves in that role, too.
Yeah. Freshman out of Jefferson, had 24 total tackles a year ago. Excited about what he'll do as a sophomore. You mentioned Deuce Walker. He is the younger brother of Jalen Walker, the former Georgia Bulldog, first-round draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons, young man out of North Carolina. He comes back. He had a 33-tackle season at the cornerback position last year as well. And he's a guy that you've been able to move around. You can play him at all kinds of spots in that secondary.
Yeah, he's very smart. Coach's son, so he takes the game serious, and he definitely has a chip on his shoulder. So very fortunate to have him back. He was one that went in the portal, and we was able to get him back out of the portal. So glad of that.
Yeah, and Tyson McCrary, a young man, his dad Fred played in the league 12 years. Tyson played high school ball there in the Atlanta area. He's back for them as well. So let's send it over to Rocky, and he is standing by with Cam and Jabril.
Matt, thank you very much. Sitting here next to Cam Brown, one of the top returning quarterbacks in the Sun Belt Conference, and also Jabril Rhodes-Nelson, an anchor on that defensive line for the Panthers. And Cam, I want to start with you. Last year was a tough season, right, for you guys. But as the season progressed, you start off, you weren't the starter, then you get some experience. By the end of the season, your 4 starts, our offense averaged 25 points per game. Just describe your journey last year as not being the guy to becoming the guy and to where you are now.
My journey last year, I would definitely say it was an emotional roller coaster. There were some times that I was definitely frustrated, but I never lost sight of the plan and the goal. I still came in every day, came to work, just because you're not playing or you're not in the position that you're in. You don't want to underprepare, because when the moment is called, you don't want to be unprepared. So when my moment was called, my number was called, I was ready. Every time they put me in the game, I did what I had to do, and eventually I won the spot.
And now as you watch the offseason last year, you self-scout, you look at your play from last year, what are the things you've identified that you want to work on and get better coming into this season?
I'll probably say getting down more, sliding. I'm not a big slider. I don't feel like that's me, but I'm gonna try to protect myself more so I can survive the long season that we have. And also just being a better vocal leader. I feel like I'm more of a person that leads by how I play, and the way I play, people are going to rally behind that, but also they need to hear me vocally.
Right. If you're not on the field, they're not going to hear you vocally, right?
Right.
Just in general, Cam, last question for you. Where do you think, so many new faces, right, guys coming in, where do you think that this team has improved the most coming into this season?
I would probably say discipline and connection. I feel like this team is a lot more connected. I know pretty much everybody's why on the offense, what makes them tick. I pretty much know, just basic like background information, not just to a name to a face. I feel like we all hang out, we all laughing and joking, even in the weight room. Like last year, I feel like sometimes in the weight room, people just come in, just try to get the lift over with. But I feel like now we're in the weight room, we're laughing, we're joking, we're having great energy. We have great energy everywhere that we go. So I feel like that and being more disciplined is something that we definitely nailed.
Excellent. And Jabril, I'll turn to you. Same question defensively. Where's been the area of focus? What's the area you think this defense has gotten better so far getting ready to start this season?
I think we took strides in every area, but the biggest one I would say is communication. Like, it's not a time with the 1s, 2s, or 3s you'll get on the field and you don't see obnoxious communication. So I think that's where we took a big stride at this year.
What is your favorite part about playing defensive line?
I'm the first line of defense, so I take pride in that. So, like, I directly impact the game. Like, the games is won and lost in the trenches. Right. So I get Cam the ball back, he goes score, we do it again.
That sounds like a good combination. Yeah. Sounds good to Cam, too. Sure. Coach McGee earlier was talking about the DNA of the Georgia State program. What is that?
It's connection, commitment, competitiveness, and composure. It's like things we live by. Like, we got finish on the back of all our T-shirts. It's just things like our DNA traits, what we live by, what we embody, how you got to show up every day as the standard.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. And, Coach, look, hey, new season. Lots of exciting aspects about the Panthers here. Maybe they can get to the top of that east side of the bracket there. Back to you.
Thanks, Rock. Appreciate that. And I'll give Cam a lot of credit. He could have easily been frustrated last year. At this time last year, he's probably number 3 on the depth chart. He stood in there, stood his ground, just kept competing, ended up being the starting quarterback, and he's the number 1 quarterback here in 2026. Coach, let's take a look at the schedule. Non-conference, you open with North Carolina A&T, and then you got a game right up the road at Kennesaw State, at UCF, and Northern Illinois coming to town.
Yep. Respect all those teams. We're not concentrating on any opponent right now. We're just really, really working on ourselves and making sure we're the best version of ourselves on an everyday basis. And like I said earlier, our whole staff will be back in office on July 20th, and we'll get a plan together and make sure we're on the same page on what we want to dial in on from a install standpoint in all 3 phases. One thing we did not do well is finish games and third down on both sides of the ball. We have to really, really concentrate on those areas and be more explosive in the passing game, but stop people in the red zone. So we'll be presenting a lot of those situations in fall camp.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot for being with us. Good luck in 2026. Look forward to seeing the Georgia State Panthers play there at Center Park Stadium in downtown Atlanta. Next up, going to send it back to the Marriott Podium. The Georgia Southern Eagles are there. And then coming up next here in our Sunbelt studios, it'll be the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. So stick around as we continue with day 1 of Sunbelt Football Media Days.
Thanks.